This is the DAR Today podcast, and I'm your host, Brooke Bullmaster Stewart. Well, I am excited to be talking with you on this, the beginning of this glorious month of June. We're coming to the end of the Wright administration, and many of you know, but for those of you who are new, each President General brings on new initiatives, new plans, and new national chairs. So as we mentioned last week, this is our team's last month to bring you these podcasts. Right after Continental Congress, you'll have a new host. But what an incredible 3 years this has been. Wow. Mrs. Wright's administration did so much, brought forth so many new tweaks, adjustments, and programs, and we just have to talk about them. I'll tell you, there are things we're going to talk about that I didn't even realize or remember happened, so I'm hoping you hear something new today as well. So that's this week, year 1, July 2022 to June 2023. We'll do a year in review to talk about not just her accomplishments, but also major events that happened. And there is a lot to cover, so I'm going to talk fast. But before we jump into that, I wanted to mention, did you see the announcement about the new Continental Congress attendance pin? You can now pre-order that as a registered attendee at this coming Continental Congress. Check your emails or on the dock for details. And speaking of Congress, if you're a DAR member, be sure to log your Service to America hours before Friday evening of Congress. That's June 27th. Remember your time zone and plan accordingly, as that is Friday evening Eastern Time. In fact, you know what? Just shoot for getting everything in by June 26th, just to be safe. Okay, let's jump into year 1 of the Wright administration. And hey, thanks so much for being here with us today. The 131st Continental Congress ushered in a celebration of the Stars and Stripes forever by launching the inaugural year of the Wright administration with sparkling anticipation and enthusiasm. Our 46th President General, then a 35-year Texas daughter hailing from the Lady Washington chapter, would bring out of the gate new $500 Stars and Stripes America 250 celebration grant opportunities to chapters promoting the nation's upcoming semi-quincentennial celebration, while encouraging membership growth and retention through the theme, Rejoicing in Our DAR Ties of Service and Friendship. By encouraging chapters to identify and initiate goals and projects unique to the composition of their membership, yet in line with DAR objectives, daughters were encouraged to showcase to the nation the extent of patriotic service inherent in our organization. We had the opportunity on this podcast to interview with the National Chair of the America 250 Committee, Catherine Walker West, in October of 2022 about these grants.
Well, Brooke, one of the most exciting things that we're doing in this administration is what we're calling the celebration grants. Mrs. Wright announced those on July 3rd, and since then, we've had over 40 chapters submit celebration grant applications. The wonderful thing about the grants is that each chapter and state society can engage their own community. So I like to refer to this as a gift to the nation, one community at a time.
The Wright administration set a whopping aspirational goal during the summer of 2022 of 15 million hours of service for daughters during its 3-year term. Teamwork would be an emphasis. Although today, daughters come from a variety of different walks of life, backgrounds, and experiences, it is the ties of service, friendship, and shared heritage that inspire all to serve God, home, and country through historic preservation, education, and patriotism. In late summer of 2022, it saw NSDAR leadership joining not just Alabama daughters, but daughters from all over at Kate Duncan Smith DAR School for their annual Dedication Day and promoting community classroom initiatives through the theme Sparking the Love of Learning. Now, October also marked the 130th anniversary of the first recorded, organized recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and chapters were encouraged to support patriotism through highlighting this milestone via development of displays, attendance at naturalization ceremonies, and posting to social media. Since its opening, DAR Constitution Hall has been an acclaimed venue for amazing events in culture and beyond. Truly one of the most sparkling gems of our society, and during the fall of 2022, our beautiful hall welcomed major outside programs from the History Channel and Univision, the largest Spanish-language channel in the United States. Although neither officially DAR events nor sponsored by the DAR, these are simply more examples of the way our extraordinary home remains in the public eye by showcasing culture through musical performances, inspiring stories, and enlightening conversations with changemakers. In fact, that great music and singing you can hear in the background here is from a military band concert in October of 2022 there at Constitution Hall. They were fantastic. Also, in this first year, DAR contributed platinum-level sponsorship to the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society's annual conference, with a Revolutionary War-era theme of Bridging the American Colonial Divide, Resurrecting the Memory and Space of Black Patriots and History Makers. The conference dovetails directly toward our organization's goals of highlighting diversity among American revolutionary patriots. 2022 also brought a collaboration with the William G. Pomeroy Foundation, which is a private philanthropic organization committed to supporting the celebration and preservation of community history. As the nation's leading funder of historic roadside markers, the Pomeroy Foundation has awarded nearly 2,000 grants for markers and bronze plaques in 46 states and Washington, D.C. With future funding for a minimum of 250 historic markers to be installed at sites across the nation, the Revolutionary America 1775 to 1783 marker program has a goal of bringing greater awareness to events and patriots associated with the American Revolution. And during November of the same year, the DAR Scholarship Committee encouraged chapters to help spread the sparkle by highlighting DAR scholarship opportunities. For the coming year of 2023, the DAR Scholarship Committee would offer 24 national scholarship opportunities with applications available online through our in-house online scholarship platform called DAR Academic Works. The committee yet again offered the America 250 Scholarship, a $5,000 one-time award intended for up to 4 continuing college students pursuing the study of American history. November also marked the announcement that the NSDAR annual proceedings have been digitized and are available on DAR's member website. The NSDAR publishes annual proceedings each year as a record of DAR's Continental Congress. They contain the reports of DAR national officers, committee chairmen, and state regents, as well as the results of DAR elections and any resolutions that were passed by the Congress. This valuable resource documenting DAR activities, showing how DAR has changed and evolved, and highlighting the historical events that shaped the DAR is now more readily accessible for all. The digitized NSDAR annual proceedings will now accompany a suite of online resources available to members. Now, member contributions to the DAR General Fund are critical to advancing the work of our organization. With that in mind, a brand new Giving Tuesday program was established that placed the general fund needs of DAR's nearly 150 specialized staff front and center. The DAR Wish Book provided members with an in-depth look at the many interconnected components of our mission that are made possible by our general fund contributions. In fact, in the fall of 2022, we were able to speak with a couple of members on why they choose to give to the National Society. Here's what a couple of them had to say.
I'm Tammy Clemens from Alabama, and I give to the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, because I love the organization. I want to make a difference, and I want that difference to be impactful to the nation as we promote historic preservation, education, and patriotism.
I'm Cindy Mangum from the state of Mississippi, and I give through the sustained giving program at DAR because America is still the greatest nation on earth.
Hi, I'm Maria Blinn from Illinois. I am a veteran's wife, and I support DAR because they support veterans, and that's very important to me. It also makes me feel very close to my mother, who passed away 20 years ago and was a DAR member. So thank you, DAR.
Don't you just love our American Spirit magazine? A new format was introduced during the month of November 2022, and it featured Stars and Stripes Forever composer John Philip Sousa. The huge updates to the look and feel and content has been such a joy to see. On November 12th, President General Wright joined Texas State Regent Marcy Carter Levick and Honorary President General and U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commissioner Lynn Forty Young, Historian General Suzanne Heskey, America 250 National Chair Catherine Walker West, and many Texas daughters, along with the representatives of several Hispanic heritage societies for the dedication of the first America 250 plaque in the state of Texas. The Texas Society worked with the city of San Antonio's World Heritage Office to place a plaque at the Spanish Governor's Palace in recognition of the essential contributions made by Spanish ranchers in the quest for American independence. These ranchers are among the more than 500 Spanish patriots to whom DAR members have traced their lineage. During the month of December, the National Society mourned the loss of Honorary President General and New York daughter Mary Ann Thompson Wright, who passed away on December 18th. Serving as our President General from 2010 to 2013, Mrs. Wright left a legacy of stewardship and service and made a difference in the lives of many daughters through her dignity, humor, common sense, and strong faith. I was reminded of the incredible honor I had to conduct a quick interview with Mrs. Mary Ann Wright at Continental Congress in 2019 when I used to do a video series called This Daughter's Day.
Hey, look, it's Mary Ann Wright, Honorary President General. Hey, Mary Ann, what's something special about this Continental Congress for you?
The very special thing for this one is all the friends that I have, and it's because this is my 50th consecutive Continental Congress.
Oh my word, what a blessing. It's so great to see you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Later in the month, our sparkling national headquarters welcomed over 800 daughters and guests home for the holidays for their annual holiday open house.
And happy holidays from the Office of the Chaplain General.
Hi, from the Office of the Librarian General, I want to wish you Merry Christmas from all of us at the DAR Open House in Washington.
Closing the year of 2022, we reflect on the many innovations and accomplishments of the new Wright administration, including a $150,000 donation to the Marian Anderson Museum and Historical Society to assist in completing much-needed repairs and renovations following devastating damages from a burst pipe and flood in the National Historic Landmark building there in Philadelphia. As 2023 opened, daughters across the nation were thrilled to learn that the Insignia pop-up shop would be traveling along with Mrs. Wright that spring during her official state visits. And due to its success in 2022, plans for a second annual NSDAR Genealogy Research Institute were also underway by January of 23. The popularity of the inaugural GRI resulted in the expansion of registration for the second annual institute to 200 registrants. The brand new Daughters Online Community, or DOC, was premiered. This online platform, a social media site just for us daughters, is a great place for sharing ideas, resources, events, and photos, and is comprised of over 40 communities. What a great place for members to connect all over the world. A great resource that will just get better over the years. What a great new idea the Wright administration implemented there. Now, during Black History Month in February, members were encouraged to learn more via the E Pluribus Unum educational initiative, which sheds light on the underrepresented Revolutionary War contributions of women, Black, and Native American patriots. NSDAR seeks to promote diversity in membership by encouraging all Americans to explore their family's past history. The Patriots of Color database is designed to help prospective members search for ancestors of color from more than 6,600 names of Revolutionary War patriots of a wide variety of backgrounds. Additionally, the Service to America Committee showcased the new Sparkle in Service products for members to purchase and wear during DAR service events or anytime, which would also support the President General's project. Leadership training courses promote mentorship, member investment, and chapter succession planning. Reminders of the recently added Committee Leaders course and honor cords for course graduates were promoted during the month of February, along with the DAR Library Outreach Committee's monthly book club selection with a book entitled The Age of Homespun. The new DAR American Revolution Legacy Grant Program was highlighted as a way to support education through financial donations benefiting educational initiatives and student programs. Our President General began her state conference visits on the East Coast in March of 2023, and the National Conservation Committee's chapter challenge to, quote, put the sparkle back in your community, end quote, through beach, park, or cemetery cleanup projects was launched. Women aged 18 or older who can prove lineal descent from an ancestor who served with the Spanish military on the island of Cuba between December 1776 and November of 1783 were excited to learn that they are now eligible for membership. This important change to open more opportunities for membership to women of Spanish ancestry. Now, did your chapter meet the Spread the Sparkle Challenge it announced in April of 2023? With a goal of, quote, add 4 more by 2024, end quote, chapters across the nation were encouraged to invite family and friends to meetings and either reinstate or secure 4 new members by year's end. Also, during 2023, after a 3-year hiatus, the DAR Library was able to bring back one of our favorite programs, the DAR Library Speaker Series, beginning on March 11, 2023, when the library hosted Mary Thompson, Historian Emeritus at Mount Vernon. In April, after 2 years of intense preparation, the DAR Library launched its new online catalog. Both searching and filtering of results would be simpler with the new software called Primo. The virtual shelf feature, also new, would now show you other books adjacent to the one you're looking for. This is a great new way for members and visitors to browse the shelves remotely prior to arriving at the library. What a fantastic addition to our already fabulous research library. Now, in April, the President General and Executive Committee observed the National Society's 107th annual pilgrimage to Mount Vernon to honor the memory and service of George and Martha Washington. 110 years ago, the National Society adopted a resolution to honor George and Martha Washington annually by laying a wreath at their tomb in their honor and memory. Throughout April and May, members, friends, and family proved that DAR stands for Daughters Are Racing by launching the 2023 Junior Membership 5K. An ongoing event since 2020, the virtual 5K event spearheaded by the Junior Membership Committee and joined by members, friends, and family raises funds for the Helen Pouch Memorial Fund. New for the Wright administration, the theme will focus on highlighting a different woman or group of women from history. Polly Cooper of the Oneida Indian Nation was featured during this inaugural year. During the harsh winter of 1777, when George Washington and his Continental Army stayed at Valley Forge, Polly Cooper provided medical aid and cooked for the soldiers. As part of the 50th anniversary of the United States of America Vietnam War commemoration, DAR participated in a historic 3-day event in Washington, D.C. in May of 2023. The multi-location event was titled, and I quote, "Welcome Home, a nation honors our Vietnam veterans and their families," end quote. It was open to the public and featured over 90 participating organizations. The event sought to honor and recognize the 7 million veterans and 10 million family members of those who served during the Vietnam War. DAR created a wonderful video commemorating this and their involvement during this time period, and I'd love to play a bit of that for you now. Although the NSDAR had been of assistance to the United States government in every war in which it had participated, this marked the first time a President General had actually visited a combat area. In Vietnam, President General Sullivan visited 10 sites, including several hospitals and active combat zones. In a subsequent media interview, Mrs. Sullivan described the somewhat harrowing experience of flying by helicopter to one particular site with enemy combatants visible below, shooting at the aircraft as it went by. After a safe landing, she noted the surprised greeting she received from the troops on the ground. In her own words,
"As we proceeded up the hill, you can imagine the surprise on the faces of the men when they saw two women." And much more the surprise when one of the women was introduced as President General of the DAR. And one of them said, "My goodness, the DAR gets everywhere."
Also in May, the Registrar General's Department developed a new approach to reviewing supplemental applications in an effort to further streamline and clear a backlog of submissions. We couldn't be more appreciative. Now, before we end our recap of year one of the Wright administration, we would be remiss if we didn't mention one of the most significant announcements, one that has become one of the largest and most ambitious goals of the Wright administration.
I am very excited to share that this administration will proudly restore and conserve our national headquarters and National Historic Landmark, Memorial Continental Hall, our living monument to our patriot ancestors located in the center of our nation's capital and the heart of our House Beautiful. While different areas within the magnificent structure have been maintained and repaired through the years, no major renovation has been completed in well over half a century. Our 11th President General, Anne Rogers Minor of Connecticut, once said, quote, "Here in this memorial hall dedicated to patriotic ancestors, it is for us collectively and individually to dedicate ourselves anew to the service of home and country. We are the representatives of a society of living, active American women pledged to the perpetuation of American ideals," end quote. Mrs. Minor served as President General in 1921 to 1923. It is now 2023. My great pleasure is to stand before you as your President General and extend the hand of friendship and invite you to join the National Board of Management in restoring and renovating the true monument to the American Revolution, Memorial Continental Hall. Many of you have heard me say this before, that often others seek the perfect place for a monument to the American Revolution in Washington, D.C. Well, we, the daughters of the American Revolution, rejoice in knowing that we own the one true monument to the American Revolution in Washington, D.C., our beloved Memorial Continental Hall. Please join me in renovating this crown jewel of our building complex. Thank you.
Well, the first year of the Wright administration culminated as daughters from across the nation returned to our House Beautiful in June of 2023 for the 132nd Continental Congress. That Congress recognized some truly amazing individuals, including our opening night keynote speaker, Jonna Mendez, former CIA Chief of Disguise. During her time in the CIA, Jonna Mendez performed clandestine photography and operational disguise during the Cold War in Havana, Beijing, and Moscow. Today, Mendez works as an author, lecturer, teacher, and consultant on intelligence matters. She's co-written several books with her husband, including Spy Dust, A True History of Espionage and Romance, Argo, and The Moscow Rules. Here she is accepting this award.
Please now welcome Ms. Mendez, who will speak to us this evening.
Like most women of my era, I entered the CIA as a secretary. In 1966, a few years into my then new career, a group of men surrounded my desk as flash cables came shooting in and out. Dan, one of our colleagues overseas, was dismantling a bomb, seeking urgent, immediate guidance before removing each new piece of the explosive device in front of him. Finally, when he got to the end of the task, He was staring at two wires. One was green and one was yellow. "Which one?" his cable said. The mood in the room around me was sober and severe. Lives were at stake with no time to spare. Seconds passed as our engineers muttered techno-speak to each other. They turned to me. "Yellow," they said. "Yellow," I typed. And then we sat there waiting for what seemed like minutes. If our engineers had given the wrong answer, the result would be catastrophic. None of us moved a muscle. As some of the longest few seconds of my life, this is a week into my career, these seconds ticked by, sweat beaded on my forehead. I didn't dare to breathe. Finally, the flash cable came back. "Dismantled," Dan said. Every one of us in that room exhaled a long, slow breath. The bomb had been deactivated. Dan and our engineers were heroes, and they were secret patriots. This was one of many moments when I saw my future flash before me. I was working in the CIA's Office of Technical Service, and even as a new secretary in the division, I knew I wanted a technical espionage career. You know, in some notes that I've made to speak to you, I would always point out that at CIA, we did not get thank yous. We did not get recognition. We did not get applause. And we avoided the spotlight like it was poison. And so here I am, in true face. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lieutenant General Nina Armagno of the United States Space Force was the National Defense Night keynote speaker and was also presented with the DAR Patriot Award. Lieutenant General Nina Armagno is the Director of Staff at the United States Space Force and the first Lieutenant General commissioned into Space Force.
So it turns out my passion for service is in my bloodline, like many of you. And thank goodness for the DAR, who keeps the history of our ancestors alive. But my passion for service is also on my father's side of the family. My grandfather was, and he was my nonno, he was Italian carabiniere. My dad actually immigrated to the United States when he was 15. My grandfather served in World War II, and he achieved the highest rank attainable for his service, the equivalent of a Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force. He was also a station chief in northern Italy, and so the service comes from both sides of the family. But I honestly wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for my parents. You see, Mom and Dad were teachers, and I won't talk about the Inquisition every night at the dinner table, but through their questions about how was school, my parents taught my younger brothers and me accountability, honesty, and excellence. But more than anything else, this is what they always said: you can do or be anything you want to be in this great country if you just set your sights on it, dream big, and work hard. It's true.
Just incredible. Time doesn't allow us to mention all who received recognition during the 132nd Congress, but we are so appreciative of all of them. Each DAR year begins and ends when the last gavel falls on the last day of Continental Congress, as it will do again this year. So that's year one in the books, summer 2022 to summer of 2023. Next week, we'll cover, yep, you guessed it, year two. So as for year one, I'm sure you'd agree, what a truly sparkling inaugural year it was for the Wright administration. We leave you today with this quote by the late Pope Francis. Rivers do not drink their own water, trees do not eat their own fruit, the sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. Well, thanks for listening and be well, dear friends. Let's celebrate the stars and stripes forever, and remember, with all of your ancestors behind you, you are the result of the love of thousands. This podcast was written and produced by our incredible team of writers and editors, and we are, as always, so grateful for President General Pamela Rouse Wright and Historian General Suzanne Heskey for their constant guidance, and a special thanks to our writer, Chris Hertz-Leffler, for being so generous with her time. The National Society Daughters of the American Revolution is a nonprofit, non-political, volunteer women's service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children. Members are all lineal descendants of those who supported the cause of independence in the Revolutionary War. For more information, please visit dar.org. This is the DAR Today podcast.